Welcome back to the show. It's Capital Market Live on Channels Television, and with the Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Mr. Uche Valobi, we've been making sense of the renewed Companies and Allied Matters Act passed on Tuesday by the 8th Senate Assembly. Before we went on breaks, we were talking about the distinction between the CAMA and the FRC Code of Corporate Governance. Let's hear your thoughts again, sir.
Yeah, in a nutshell, the point we're trying to make is that the CAMA sets out the minimum threshold of the law governing companies, companies regulation, companies affairs. And then we have the codes. The codes are conscious of the law. They're all conscious of the CAMA, but they set additional standards or regimes that can govern certain sectors. And so there will never be a situation where one could say the code will be in conflict with the CAMA, because the codes are simply complementary to the organic law being the CAMA. But in any case, like we know it, if at all it turns out at any point that a code has a provision that is irreconcilably in conflict with the act being the CAMA, then of course the code will have to take a bow. It will be null and void to the extent of that inconsistency. But I know that the drafters of the code are conscious of this, and what they seek to do is to create additional regimes to complement the CAMA.
So this gets me wondering where we actually went wrong earlier in terms of the previous FRC codes that was designed and presented to investors. But let's move on to other parts of this CAMA and find out now, how does it directly impact on the stock exchange, especially the listed companies as well?
Oh, well, it's good news. It shows that Nigeria is getting it right, that we are now more competitive, and that our doing business index is going up well, and that the country is emerging as the preferred investment destination and a business hub in Africa. Because when you fix some of these things, investments will naturally come. Yes, because if a foreigner knows quite well now that he could come into this country and get a company registered without so much formalities anymore, and then he could start doing his business from the following day. It helps. And that is why countries like United Arab Emirates and the rest are having so much investment.
So this for you is a major catalyst for Nigeria realizing its ease of doing business.
Oh yes, certainly.
Earlier we moved up 24 points. So do you have a projection for where we should be next?
Yeah, we are making significant progress. We've gone up again, and I believe that the next time the World Bank will be doing the rankings for 2019, we'll get somewhere that we all can be proud of. But, I mean, this is only one subset of the doing business index. There are still other things. But we are getting this right in terms of company formation.
So if you go online, if you go on social media networks, you find a lot of foreign investors telling you that there's one central problem with policies in Nigeria, and that is implementation. What do you make of that? Are you confident that we will be able to get this done, implemented, integration of technology, ICT for registration, if in the next 1 hour or 24 hours rather, you don't utilize the name, it goes, will all of this be implemented?
Well, I would say that it does appear that the Corporate Affairs Commission have done a whole lot of work. Before we even got to this point, before we got to this point, they had already commenced online registration, online payment, online searches, and the like. And they have also managed to decentralize their operations. The zonal offices are working well. They need to do more. They need to invest more in technology, and then they also need to do a little more in capacity building. Once they are able to do all that, I want to believe that with this kind of law coming in place, there will be upsurge in a number of companies that will have to be registered. There will be increasing number of startups There'll be new businesses. And this helps a great deal. It helps in generating additional employment. It also helps to the planners of the economy, in terms of national planning, to capture more people, more businesses into the planning net. So it's a whole lot of good things coming out of this. The multiplier quite enormous, and we just want to sit back and expect that the implementation will receive the desired attention. The committee chaired by the Vice President on enabling business environment improvement and the roundtable of the National Assembly are all geared towards seeing this kind of things work.
So possibly by the time this is signed into law, we should see our next capital importation FDI yardstick now increasing better, because the last one didn't give us a good number in terms of FDI. Instead, it was hot money. FPI is more into the capital market.
Yes, we will expect more foreign direct investment this time around, with emergence of this kind of bill. Well, like you really said, it's still a bill. It's passed through the Senate. It has to be passed also by the House of Representatives, and then we'll get the presidential assent.
Are we sure we'll get that, sir?
I'm optimistic. I'm optimistic. Highly optimistic we'll get it.
I'm surprised at your optimism, and I want to know
because the work you see on the table is a product of concerted effort. There was a convergence around this by the executive, by the legislature, by the operators, and by the general public.
But we don't know how soon that will be done.
I think it's something that this National Assembly must ensure that it is done. And I think also the presidency is also geared towards ensuring that this happens. It just has to happen.
Okay, I join in the optimism. Actually, I try to be incurable, optimistic on that. Okay, so there are other extant laws. You know, you have the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Bill, Federal Roads Authority Bill, National Inland Waterways, and the very recent, I think it's Nigeria Transport Bill, now Transport Commission Bill. That is, where are we on all of this? Do you think all of these two will pass through, like the Senate was able to act and expedite action on this CAMA eventually?
Well, there are quite a number of bills in the National Assembly, and I do not know whether I would say that they're a bit overwhelmed or what, but the best approach, the most pragmatic approach, is for them to prioritize them. Find out the ones that are very critical and needed to be addressed urgently, and then deal with those. I think that is something that the FX 2020 office is doing. They have also shortlisted quite a number of bills that are business-oriented, and then they are going through these bills, and then they are also attaching some priority to them, trying to rank them to know which one we need to have today, which one can wait till the next day, and probably which one can be deferred to the next National Assembly. So I think this is what has to be done to ensure that we get it right. Urgent things need to be done urgently. So that is my take on it.
All right. Thank you very much, sir, for making it down to Capital Market this evening. We really appreciate your time on the show. Really a pleasure to have you around. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Temple. Thank you.
Mr. Uche Valobi is a senior partner at Alliance Law Firm. He is also a senior advocate of Nigeria. You should watch out for the Central Bank MPC meeting on Monday and Tuesday, when the briefing will be coming up, and that will be live on Channels Television. On that note, we'll draw the curtain on the show this evening. That's all the time we've got. I'm Temple Ashaju. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.